They're at the launch of the AMG GT 63 and the 63 Pro. And with us today is Santosh Iyer, the Managing Director of Mercedes-Benz India.
Thanks for joining, Sergius.
Thank you for having us here, Santosh. Always a pleasure. And especially when it's this guy, AMG. Congratulations on the launch. First of all, coming to the two cars that you launched and unveiled today, what's the response been like? It's typically you always announce something that they've already been sold out, or so where are you on that?
You know, right now it's a bit cliche. That's why, frankly, more than 10 cars have been pre-booked even before we announced price and we launched this car. But yeah, I think we resisted from not making an announcement as such, but since you asked. On the other side, you know, we started this journey around 12 years back, you know, with the SLS Gullwing, a very nascent market for AMG as such. We developed this segment, set up these driving academies in the boot circuit. A lot of performance enthusiasts came in. I think the ecosystem has built up. It's not only, I am saying, for us, but even for competitors. A lot of people, and I would say launching new cars and customers buying them. And I think this is slowly but surely this performance motoring sports car segment where people love to drive on tracks. That's a growing segment. This car ticks all the boxes for them.
So absolutely. No, in fact, Santosh, I have to talk to you about that for Mercedes-Benz. If we look at it historically, over a decade ago, Mercedes was always perceived as the luxury brand. I thought when you all went into sport journey, it would be a transition. But in India, you're seemingly holding both forts, luxury and performance. How difficult is that to do? And what do you sort of ascribe this to?
No, I tell my team as well. I don't think there's any automotive brand in the world. If you look at 4 nameplates, Mercedes-Benz for sure, the Star, you have Maybach, Pinnacle on luxury, you have the AMG on performance. Right. On the third spectrum, you have G also, which is a Galender wagon and the iconic SUV, genetics, which comes from the G asset. And all of these 3 brands, we have electrified them now. 2 days back, you saw the AMG GT XH. Of course, whether customers will shift or not, but we have all the options. We have the 8-cylinder options, we have the hybrid powertrains, we have the electrified powertrains. But I think this spread of a brand, then it's our responsibility to ensure that we keep ensuring the brand lives up to each of the verticals. So in AMG, it's all about driving performance. We need to get engagement, customer events, get the right cars, right specs into India. Maybach, it's all about, more individualization, more top-end luxury, Atelier concept, retailing concepts being different. So I think this spread, we are quite fortunate to be custodians of these brands and really offering this to the Indian market as well.
Right, absolutely. No, in fact, Santosh, like you said, you got all of these brands, they're doing very well there. But I also want to ask you is, the entry-level luxury segment, that's something that not just Mercedes, but a lot of brands are kind of vacating. And there's almost like a hollow being created in the, let's say, 40 to 60 lakh, which is a wide price bracket. Why do you think that's happening, and can this be addressed?
So, if you see the overall luxury car market, I would still say there are big players with specific cars at sub 50 and those price points. There. We also have an A class there, but of course, on-road price itself goes more than 50 or lakhs.
Yeah.
So that's where the challenge is. But I think what happens is a value proposition. You know, if you look at Indian market, when you compare with other markets, the high taxation in India, which basically the moment you add the GST, the road tax, these cars go significantly expensive. Now, it's very difficult for an entry customer to explain because let's take an example of safety. They say 5-star, 5-star. But the BA NCAP 5-star is very different from our European NCAP 5-star because we have taken rear crash, we have taken side crash, which a BA NCAP won't have. So, very difficult to explain. Can we as Mercedes-Benz take out some of this content and then give it to the customer in India to bring the price down? The answer is clear no, because we will never, if we sell a Mercedes-Benz, it will be a Mercedes-Benz. So, this explains, but the moment you go to the core segment, which is a GLC, a C-class, easier, the customer finds a value proposition even better. And that's why, this is a reason why we have almost, I won't say vacated, we will have products. Let me be very clear, we will have GLA, all the cars, but not a stripped down version, not a 3-cylinder version, not a entry level version. That's not our DNA, and we rather not sell. But if we sell, it should be a Mercedes-Benz.
So it's enriched, it's an enriched lower and entry point
exactly.
for you. And you're coming to the AMG specifically. How's the year been so far in terms of sales? For your line, how's that progressing?
I think if you take the calendar year, which is Jan to June now, the first quarter was a bit tougher for us. A lot of reasons for that. But if I look at the second quarter or the first quarter of this fiscal, I think it's a great one. It actually, if you look at what's happening geopolitically, externally, this quarter has been really amazing. If you look at the Vahan data also, overall luxury growing at 5-6%, we are growing as well. I think that's a very good setup because if you look at capital markets, they are also growing. Real estate, growing. These are our core customer bases and I think that's great. Hopefully this continues.
Right.
The dampener to some extent in our case and maybe also to the other players, maybe the price increases because of the euro to the rupee. It's now 100 rupees to a euro.
100, yes.
And these cars were priced at 89, 90. Even now with price increases, we are compensating 92, 93. Further price increase in September. But again, we had this interest rate falling down. RBI announced, we have passed on this to the market. So monthly installments still lower.
Right.
Or same as what it used to be, price going up. So I think this year will be like this, more flattish kind of a growth. But still, we should be happy we are not degrowing. We are growing, not maybe at a tremendous pace, but I think the growth is still
But
there.
it's still there.
Yeah.
Right. And, last question. I know you've got a long line of people ready to talk to you here. But talking about literally, yes, the rupee, like you said, you have priced your cars on a 90 mark. It's now crossed the 100. Do you think the FTAs that the Indian government is trying to work out with Europe, with the UK, with the US and things like that, would that help in terms of, especially, obviously your CBUs?
So,
What's your-
CBUs, firstly, the exchange rate to mitigate the core answer to do that is localization. So, we are already doing more than 30% localization. That actually offsets this exchange rate issue to 30% of the value. We are increasing. If you look at the new E-Class, the entire glasses, panels, everything we have localized in India. So, that helps us to not pass on straight to straight. And 90-95% of the cars we sell in India are localized. So, that's the one good case. Coming to FTA, clearly, this will help the CBUs to some extent. But even if you look at the price of this car, 3 crores, and now you take the invoice value and you go back to the ex-factory value and the imported price, it is still cheaper than Europe. And the first thing when an FTA comes, I think for us to get allocations, you have to adjust profitability.
Right.
A profit of this car should be same as any part of the world. That's
Any
the
other
first
market,
step.
yes.
And then, of course, some benefits will go to the customer. So, to be honest, yes, there would be some advantages, but it's not a like you now come up with an FTA, car prices are going to go down by 50%. It never happens.
Exactly.
I don't think for us, even for others, because everybody has a similar business model. In our view, it's not going to be the biggest change for pricing in luxury cars. But it will help economic growth, per capita GDP. More people will buy luxury cars. So, we, of course, promote free trade, always.
Absolutely great. So, thank you so much, Santosh, for talking to us and hope to get behind the wheel of this one soon.
Yeah, we will get a car in our fleet as well by end of this year.
Awesome.
You will love it for
Good to know.
sure. Yeah.
Thanks, Santosh.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you.